There's a lot of great research being done on mixing, psychoacoustic effects, and generally preferred levels of effects, vocals, and so on. So let's test out these findings and see if they improve vocal production or if they kind of miss the mark. Starting off, let's test this idea of reverb loudness relative to dry loudness. So according to a paper published in 2014 titled Intelligent Audio Production Strategies Informed by Best Practices, the preferred reverb level for 30 evaluators is 9 loudness units lower than the dry signal. Now, they also found that listeners disliked higher reverb levels when in the context of popular music, especially when the reverberated signal was the same loudness as the dry signal. Now, I'm curious which you all prefer, so let's try this out on vocals with the reverb set at -15, -12, -9, -6, -3 loudness units, and then at the same loudness as the vocal. Let me know which one sounds the best to you. In my opinion, reverb level is a relative thing, but I'm also curious what you think.
They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80.
Next up, let's talk about frequency-specific peak to RMS ratios. So according to the same paper, after measuring over 900 commercial number one singles, there's a clear pattern regarding the dynamic range of each frequency range. Overall, low frequencies are more dynamically controlled than high frequencies. Across the 8 octaves, ranging from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, the most control occurs on the sub and the lows, with a peak to RMS ratio of about 16:1. Now gradually, this increases to about 17:1 to 18:1 for the next few octaves, before we notice a more significant increase in the dynamic range for the highest 3 octaves. So let's try this out on vocals using frequency-specific compression. I'll achieve the same crest factor or peak to RMS ratio as what's shown here, with the exception of the lowest frequency range, which I'll attenuate with a high-pass filter instead. Then I'll apply ratios that don't correspond to what's shown in the paper to be the ideal dynamic ranges. So let's listen to these vocals in the context of an instrumental. For the instrumental, I'll adhere to the recommended dynamic ranges for both examples.
They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80.
Next, let's cover vocal loudness relative to the instrumental. Now, one interesting finding in this paper is the ratio of the lead vocal's loudness relative to everything else. They suggest a vocal should be equal in loudness to the rest of the mix. So if the instrumental is -23 LUFS, the vocal should be -23 LUFS, and so on. If the instrumental dips in loudness during a particular passage, a vocal rider should be used to attenuate the vocal's loudness, and vice versa. So let's take a listen to a vocal that's set to the same loudness as the instrumental. I'll vary the level of the vocal's level, moving it above and below this mark, and let me know if there's a particular setting that sounds the best to you.
They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80. They're out of pocket, I'm in it like Brady. I give 100, y'all giving it 80.
Real quick, if you want to get your mixes to sound like professional songs, we have a mixing membership called the Sage Audio Membership, where you get access to Sage Audio University for in-depth mixing and mastering courses, private one-on-one mentorship, unlimited personalized mixing feedback, and 50 free mastered songs per year. Go to sageaudio.com or use the link in the description. Next up, let's cover Gestalt theory and the rule of common fate. So in a 2016 paper titled Gestalt Theory and Mixing Audio, author Matthew Shelvach proposes that a person's tendency to group related and semi-related information into simplified and meaningful groups has huge implications when we're mixing music. For example, Gestalt's rule of common fate states that stimuli are grouped when they experience similar changes. So say I have 3 vocal tracks, one is the lead, and 2 are BGVs that don't follow the same melody as the lead. If they start and stop at the same time, or they just stop at the same time, a listener will group these 3 distinct signals into one cohesive unit. Now, this may give us some insight as to why bus processing is so effective at creating cohesion. By affecting multiple signals with the same change, so to speak, we cause the listener to construct a meaningful connection between them. Following that idea, let's listen to vocals that have been processed individually and then vocals that are collectively processed. I'll alter the processing to ensure that the overall amount of change is as close as possible, but let me know which example sounds more cohesive to you.
These lights go down for no one, burning on a neon sign. These lights go down for no one, burning on a neon sign.
Last up, let's cover mixing vocals and the rule of good continuation. So in the same paper, the author offers this illustration. Notice that the first perception is that of one straight line and an intersecting curved line. However, when we take a moment, we'll notice it could also be perceived as a black and a red line, both of which converge and move in different directions. As it relates to audio, this suggests that the perceived pattern will emerge from the seemingly simplest or smoothest change, which makes sense if I have two clips from a vocal and I want to create the perception of a continuous performance. Then a crossfade is often a good choice, since it simplifies the listener's experience by offering reduced perceivable change. Now, creatively speaking, this gives mixing engineers good reason to create drastic changes to combat this tendency. For example, say I have a lead vocal and a counter melody. Already the two vocals will sound distinct due to variations in the performance. However, if their timbres match closely, it may become difficult for listeners to identify both. Now let's say I keep the original vocal as is, but I heavily distort and equalize the counter melody. By creating multiple layers of perceivable change, we take away the listener's ability to group these two vocals together. So to show this, I'm going to record a single vocal line. Notice that if I separate the clip and apply unique processing to the separated part, I've created two distinct identities. The performance is no longer one continuous performance, but two performances delineated by their unique timbres.
These lights go down for no one. These lights go down for no one. These lights go down for no one. These lights go down for no one.
As I mentioned earlier, if you want to get your mixes to sound like professional songs, we have a mixing membership called the Sage Audio Membership, where you get access to Sage Audio University for in-depth mixing and mastering courses, private one-on-one mentorship, unlimited personalized mixing feedback, and 50 free mastered songs per year. Go to sageaudio.com or use the link in the description.